I guess I'm Mike's friend. He's not here. So, Dr. Mike, first of all, I hope that you're being like tongue-in-cheek.
Like all I feel is rage and frustration and anger.
I fear either for your eyesight or your mental health. Your physique's nowhere near Mike Mentzer, even with all the PEDs that you're taking.
I met Dorian Yates in real life, and when Dorian says something, he means business. He doesn't sugarcoat stuff. So when a legend like him has to come forward to defend another legend like Mike Mentzer, who is not among us anymore, who was basically attacked by this so-called doctor, Mike Israetel, who actually doesn't deserve that title, who is basically an average guy with a big ego. Yes, he has a lot of followers. Yes, he's very influential. But all this mess, it just shows the poor state of our fitness industry and how becoming famous on social media can literally warp your mind and ending up like Mike Israetel.
Mike the shithead Israetel, you know, the guy that always has to remind us that he's a doctor, he knows more than anybody else, and he has to talk about that PhD, which now we know is a big piece of shit. You guys know that asshole, right? Well, now, Dorian Yates, the legendary bodybuilder and close friends of the late Mike Mentzer, heard that bull-looking motherfucker was talking shit about him, and he ain't too happy about it. And he didn't just call him a piece of shit. He called him a big bag of shit. And wait until I show you this shit.
It's worth it, mate, because a bag of shit that gets bigger is just a bigger bag of shit. Still a bag of shit. You know what I mean, mate?
That's the problem with social media nowadays, because it inflates people's egos into thinking that they are some kind of gods, that they know everything, even though they portray themselves so poorly. The second they become famous, all the humility, for some reason, leaves the room. And even though that they haven't achieved anything meaningful, they start considering themselves better than everybody else.
I heard about Mike Mentzer 20 years ago, and by the time I heard about him, everything he ever thought and said had already been written and said. I could have fully appraised the breadth of his analysis, because he was like relevant in the 80s, and then no longer. It was RIP. He just isn't around. And so when people are like, what do you think about Mike Mentzer? My asshole thought is, whatever I think about Mike Mentzer, I already thought it 20 years ago, which means that Mike Mentzer had a couple of things he said that were brilliant, spot on, and absolutely require our consideration. He had a few other things he said which were insane, psychotic, totally dumb, and fucking backwards wrong. So with the Mike Mentzer thing, because it's a fad, it's like, we already know what Mike Mentzer did that worked well, and we already know what he did that didn't work well.
So if you're saying something as ridiculous as that, you gotta show off the receipts. How many competitions have you won? How many athletes, successful athletes, have you trained? Because you are literally attacking a legend who had an amazing physique, who was on the Olympia stage, and whose training principles have been used by none other than six-time Mr. Olympia, Dorian Yates. And just look at the crazy physique that Dorian Yates managed to build. He was literally untouchable. He literally pushed bodybuilding into a new era. Yes, maybe his methods are not preferred by everyone, may not work for everyone, but to show up in the front of the camera and spew up this nonsense, this super arrogant and inconsiderate stuff about a legend in the world of bodybuilding, it's crazy.
So by now the world knows what kind of piece of shit PhD that Mike Israetel turned in. You know, that dissertation, I looked at it for a few minutes and I was like, you know, those kids, you remember the kids in the special education classes in high school? They could have even done a better job than him. And that got me thinking further. You know, that university, they must have been giving out these PhDs like candies, making everybody a doctor who just put in a dissertation, right?
So unfortunately, this phenomenon of the universities giving master's degrees, bachelor degrees, is a very widespread phenomenon. I know cases where people got these degrees in the university and they haven't stepped one day in that university. They haven't read one page and they never took part of an exam. I'm pretty sure he never read that piece of paper and just submitted it as it is.
And that got me thinking, it reminded me of the IFBB. You know how they just make everyone a pro now? Who just shows up, they give them out like candies? Well, except for Mike, because he tried to get his pro card and he couldn't get one. And he blamed it on his tan.
It's all about the money. Everything that before held some value, like a pro card, a PhD, a degree, now it's not worth it that much. What is mind-blowing is the sheer arrogance of this guy, to go after a legend like Mike Mentzer.
Well, this asshole started talking shit about Mike Mentzer, saying he looks better than him, he's smarter than him, and I'm like, what mirror is this asshole looking into? Whatever it is, send it to me, because then maybe I'll look into it and think I look like Elvis, you asshole.
I mean, just by looking at these pictures, you can see the beauty in Mike Mentzer's physique. The lines, the details. It's like you're looking at a Michelangelo piece. But when you look at this other guy, it's almost like a melted candle or some failed scientific experiment. But oh yeah, the tan, that's the culprit. Yeah.
At the end of the day, what I think about Mike Mentzer, I could very easily sum up, but it's the same summary I could have given you 20 years ago. And the crazy thing to me is, like, I saw a fucking reel on my YouTube shit. YouTube does the fucking shorts. And it was like Mike Mentzer's advice on diet. What? Motherfucker was around in 1982. I don't give a fuck what someone from 1982 said about diet. I'm sorry. Because what he said about diet was already absorbed and processed by everyone by 1988, by 1996, 2012, 2023 out in this motherfucker, man. Next you're gonna you tell me what Elvis ate for breakfast. That's relevant. It's a flying fuck. And Mike Mentzer was impressive for his time, but he wasn't impressive in an absolute sense. Yeah. Did he have some kind of insight that the rest of us didn't? I'll tell you right now, the answer is no. So when people are like, oh, what did Mike Mentzer like? What was his diet like? I'm like, why the fuck do you want to know? So I don't know what to tell you. So who am I compared to Mike Mentzer? Well, real talk, and this is me just being snooty, so I don't really mean all this. I mean, the factual sense, but I don't want to come off like a dick. I'm bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer. That's it. Yeah. So all of a sudden, that changes the game. I'm more educated than Mike Mentzer. I know more things than Mike Mentzer. Yeah. And a lot of that's not because I'm some amazing guy. It's because I've just been in the future. Yeah. And I've learned everything he did and then everything after.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the sheer arrogance of this guy. It's almost unbearable to watch.
Dorian Yates, once great friends, close friends with the late Mike Mentzer. He heard of all this shit, right? He heard about the fake, well, not fake, but the bullshit PhD, might as well be fake. He heard about that, and then he heard about all the shit he was talking about his friend, and he wasn't happy. And maybe, Dorian watches my videos because he didn't call him just a piece of shit. He called him a big bag of shit.
Because a bag of shit that gets bigger is just a bigger bag of shit. Still a bag of shit. You know what I mean, mate?
So if you have all this advanced information, if you have all this advanced sports technology like PEDs, if you know so much about training and about diet, how can you just build a physique which is so mid and you do so poorly in your bodybuilding shows? And then you're gonna go after someone like Mike Mentzer. Just look at his body, the way he presents himself, the way he poses, the aesthetics, the aura. Mr. Mike could never.
I've always watched his videos, I've always been entertained by them, but I never watched them because I wanted to learn some science-based bullshit for learning how to lift weights. But I was like, why these guys try to make it so complicated for people? Because think about it. If they didn't, what new bullshit program would they have to sell you each week? But saying that, I never watched Mike because of his PhD, because of his science bullshit. I watched him because he's funny, he's entertaining, and he likes to talk shit like me.
Yeah, nobody can deny that. Mike Israetel has the gift of speaking very well in front of the camera. He has some charisma, he sounds very smart, and people tune in. But that's the problem, that these people reach to a certain level of popularity that it messes up with their brains. And look what they end up doing.
So I never gave a shit about the PhD, but I understood, why other people would think it's a big deal. But the thing that bothered me the most about this, the whole fiasco that happened, was the fact that when it happened, instead of coming clean, admitting it was 12 years ago, it was a piece of shit, that's what I did. Instead of admitting it, he came out and he tried to cover it up and say it wasn't the right draft. He tried to lie about it. He even got his butt buddies involved trying to cover it up. That Osama bin Laden looking asshole, Jeff Niptard, they all came in and they all tried covering it up and lying for him.
That's exactly what they do. They mess up and they lie, but not only they lie with a bigger lie, and then they cover up that lie with another lie. Do you remember Greg Doucette and Farhad Hussein's situation when they made that video coming forward saying that they lied and the guy is actually not natural? It was like a multi-layered lie. And now what happened? This was the perfect storm which shifted all the attention from Greg Doucette and Farhad Hussein to the science-based lifting community. So now my question is, was all this fiasco ordered and orchestrated by Greg Doucette to save his ass? I don't know. I'd like to hear your guys' opinion. So please let me know in the comment section. So it's a sad day for the fitness community. It's a sad day for universities. So what this all is going to do is going to lower the bar in our fitness industry, like it was not already low, and going to make people to feel confused and discouraged. So guys, please let me know, what do you think about this situation? I'd love to hear your opinion. So please let me know in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.